Mean to say that whenever they are developed this particular database, they have already given some kind of functions, and the functions is basically used for the purpose of a specific operations. Like I was been discussing about like a function called a min function and max function, average function, count function, count of star function, or count underscore big. Almost you have 6 different functions in that particular application of single sorry, I can call it as multi-level functions, and today we were being discuss about single valued functions. Okay, now we'll start with the basic things what we have been already learned. And okay, so I'm been talking about single system defined functions, and the last session we are been discussing about multi-row functions. Alright, so these functions will be works on the multiple values or multiple values of single expression, and it is going to return you a single value for the user. Whereas for example, if we go on talking about single row functions, it will be works only on single row and it is going to return a single value. Alright, so if you just understand it, what is the use of single row and multi row functions. Alright, so let's see this. Okay, if you are been talking about single row functions, single value functions, the function will basically works on only on single row, right? It just works on only on this particular row, and always it returns you only single value as output. Whereas if you have been talking about multi-value functions, nothing but multi-row functions, if you consider this is your database table, alright, in this you have a different expressions, like this is one of the expression in your database. I can call it as an attribute of the column or attribute of the table. This is one of the attribute of my table, and this attribute, if a function is something, call it as a multi-row function, so what will happen is it is going to work on this particular part. Alright, so it's been talking about it has to work on this entire expression, and always it returns you either only one value, nothing but it will be returns you only single value as output. Okay, so we are been discussing about multi-row functions in the last day. There are a few functions, I'll just list it out. Okay, just look at here, the function name called max, the function name called minimum, the function name called average, and the function name called count, or the function name called count star. Alright, so then you have a function called count underscore big, and these are the few functions which we have already discussed in the earlier session. Alright, so today what I am trying to discuss here is I am trying to discuss about the functions of single row functions. Okay, so how does this single row functions does work, and what are the functions will be have. Alright, so now let me start with the basic of string functions. Alright, the first function is something called it as upper function. What is this upper function will do is, if you give any expression as an input to this, this will be convert your value into uppercase character, nothing but doesn't matter how much, doesn't matter the characters, it doesn't matter what character you can have. Alright, so now let's see the database. What is the database we have created? That is something called e_Shopee, is one of the database which we have created earlier. Alright, so in this particular database we have a table name called a select star from a table employee. Alright, if you just look at here, this is the table is consists of a few records here, right? You have a different records is having here. In this particular record, I want to get all of these names as to be in uppercase. Okay, how to get this? Let's see this. For example, I'll just put it in an Excel sheet. So you just look at here how this will be works. Alright, just look at here. This is your entire table which we have already currently in our application. This is your table. Alright. Look at here, this names, some names are in uppercase, some names are in mixed case, some characters in uppercase, some characters in lowercase, some characters in uppercase, some characters in lowercase. Okay. So then what I want to do is I want to convert entire things as to be in uppercase, nothing but I want to make all of these names has to come in uppercase. So What is that kind of function we have to use for this? It is pretty simple. You have, as I told you, that this functions always works with only select statement. Do remember this, functions always works with only select statement. All right, it will not be works, any kind of functions will not works with insert, update and delete. Okay, if someone is ask you, I want to integrate any of these three queries into a function, what I supposed to do is, it is pretty simple. Here this you don't have any scope for writing insert, update and delete into a function. In that time what you need to do is, as we have already learned, one of our database objects, something call it as a stored procedure, right. So the stored procedure is capable, you can integrate either insert, update and delete. Along with that you can also write a select statement. Okay, so very much important interview question it is. Okay, if someone want to integrate any of these three queries, what I supposed to do is, it is pretty simple. Instead of using an object name called function, you have to use an object name called a stored procedure. All right. So that's the reason, if you just observe or not, in the from the last day I am just using always select statement. Yes or no? So same thing, if you just execute it, you can have a records here, and just want to apply some of the functions in your databases, and just want to apply a function called select, the function name called upper function. I want to get a name. Let's see, I am giving some name in mixed case. Now let's see, select of this thing. Right now you can just observe here, this will be in mixed case here. Some of them characters are uppercase, some of them are in a lowercase. Okay, I want to make everything has to be in only uppercase. Let's see this. You can just see our output of this particular thing. You can just see, you can have everything is in uppercase now. All right. So for example, someone is ask you, I want to know the all the employees. Here doesn't matter what kind of case they have given, but I want to make all of them has to be all of them names has to become in uppercase. Okay, so then how to use here? It is pretty simple. You can just use select upper function of on the column name of employee name from the table name is this one. If you just use here, all right, you can just look at here the table, everything, whatever the names are presented in that particular table, right now everything is in uppercase. Okay, let's look at here this column and this column. All right, see here the employee name, previously right now it is in mixed case, now everything is in uppercase. Here also mixed case, uppercase, here already an uppercase, same thing, already something in mixed case here, everything has to be in uppercase here. All right. So this kind of functions will help you. If there are some situations where someone is ask you in a reporting format, I want to get the names in uppercase or I want to get the names in lowercase. For example, someone is ask you that I want to get the names in lowercase, say lower is a function. All right. So you can just say APSSDC, or right now you can just observe carefully this particular character or this particular string right now is in a mixed case, right. Make sure that has to be in lowercase now. Let's see, everything of this particular name will come in lowercase now. Let's look at here. Right now it is in, everything is in lower character, but doesn't matter how much, doesn't matter the string is. The string is basically sometime in uppercase, sometime in lowercase, but the output always comes in lowercase. That is the major thing you have to remember whenever I am talking about upper or lower function. Okay, someone is ask you that I want to get all of the employee names has to be in lowercase. Say you can say lower of, you can say employee name from the function name called TVL employee. All right, let's execute it. You can just look at here, this particular all the names will be comes in lowercase. Okay, right, look at here. Right here, actually these are the record physically is presented in your table, and this is what the output of a lower function. Okay, so this is the lower function and this will be, you can say, upper function. All right, so doesn't matter how many doesn't matter what is the value which is already saved in that location. Now let me remove all these cases. Now let us see that this is a original value. It is your original values of the table, but after applying a lower function, it will be like this. After applying the uppercase function, the values will be like this. All right. Now, for example, someone wants to find out the length of a given string. For example, someone has given a name or someone has given a string to find out length of characters. All right. So, for example, I have given some string here. Let us say the string name is APSSDC, some strings I was given here. All right. So, now I want to find out how many characters are in this part. Okay. It is pretty simple. You can just go to this particular function, right. Let us go to that particular string, apply the function called length, L-E-N, and give an input as particular this string is. All right. So, now you can just apply this particular string. You can have a record, you can have a number of characters which is integrated into the string, right. Here how many characters are integrated? Let us see, probably 43 characters, nothing but you just calculate manually, there is 43 characters will be in this particular string. All right. So, you have to remember all these things on this part. Okay. And also you need, for example, someone wants to find length of the characters of their employee names, who is having highest characters in that name, right. How to do that? It is pretty simple. You can just say select length of, or like say the name of the function is employee name, right. The function name is TBL employee. As you can do one thing also, you want to make it as more clear, you can just give an alias name, length of employee names. Okay. So, as I told you, this alias names will be again very important thing. You have to remember, whenever if you want to give a output, it has to be in proper way. Okay. So, then the reason is you can just use some kind of alias names to this. Let us execute this, right. You can able to see all of their employee names which have a given characters. Now, let us select this, right. Look at here and paste here. This particular name, how many characters here? 6 characters. Harsha is about 6 character, output is 6. Naveen is about again 6 characters, output is 6. Anil is about 4 characters, it is 4. Akhil is a characters of 5. Uday is a characters of 4. Ramu is characters of 4. Nihant is characters of 7. Nothing but it just give you the entire length of the given string is. Okay. Given expression is what? Given expression is employee name is a column name of my table, and then what is the output we are expecting? Length of that particular given thing. All right. So, let us look at here. There is one of very important question they will ask you. Okay. Give me an employee names. Give me an employee names whose name is having 4 characters. So, what I want to do is, I just want to give output as employee details, entire employee details, say select start from employee. I want to give all the details, but only one thing is what I just want to do is, it has to contain, the name of employee has to contain only 4 characters. Let us see how many users have a characters of 4. Let us see, you have a user here characters of 4, all right. You have one more user, is another 2 users have a characters of 4. All right, one more user here having characters of 4. See that I have a characters of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 records. Okay, what is output I want is, I want to get these 4 records as my output here. All right, so that is what the question, very important interview question is. How to write a select statement to give the name of an employee who is having only 4 characters. All right. So, you can just go for select star from table name is TBL underscore employee, where what is that? It has to contain only 4 characters, right. How to do that? So, in the where clause, what I am trying to do is, I want to know that length of employee name, nothing but it will be return some value which is of integer format. This integer format has to be equals to the characters of 4, nothing but you can just see here whatever the value which is returning from here, this has to be matched with this value. Only those records has to be select from the table name called this one. Okay. So, you have to remember one more important thing here, you have to remember one more important thing here, that that whenever you are writing a select statement or whenever you writing update or delete statement with a where clause, always you have to remember that first where class will be executed, and after that the result of where clause, nothing but the output of where clause will be sent to select statement. Alright. So, here also first where class is going to be evaluated, and this particular length function of employee names is going to give some value, maybe 4, maybe 6, maybe 10 or whatever it is, in which it has to match with only 4. So, whatever the records which you have, that will be sent to select statement, and the select statement is going to returns you the value which is of this. Okay. Now, you can just select here, now you can just paste it in Excel sheet whatever you have right now. Now, you can just see that how many employees have a name of 4 characters, 4 employees. See that here also we are doing the same thing, 1, 2, 3 and 4, we got the output as about 4 characters here. Alright. So, for example, someone is asking, I do not want to see all the entire details, I just want to see only their employee name and employee salary, only 2 columns I want to see, right. How to do this? Say select employee name and employee salary from the table name is this one, alright, where length of employee name supposed to be about 4 characters. Alright. So, nothing but the name of a particular employee has to be in 4 characters. If you have that 4 characters, then you have a chances you can able to select only 2 records here, employee name and employee salary. Alright. Now, let us see this, you can just see only 2 columns which is their name and their salaries. Okay. Now, let us look at here, you have only 4 records here. Now, these 4 records, all of their employee names is only on 4 characters. Here also same, but we are selecting every detail of that employee, but here we are just getting only 2 details of that employee. And also you can do one thing, alright, someone asks you that give me an employee names, whose names is or more than 5 characters. Okay. So, now what I want to do is I want to give the name of their employees whose name has to be consist of more than 5 characters. How to write the select statement for this? Right. You can write a select statement like this, employee name, employee salary from the table as this one, where length of employee name has to be greater than about 5 characters, nothing but if you say greater than or equals to, it will be get the records which is of having 5 characters, and here it is going to give the records which is of 5 characters as well as more than 5 characters. Okay. Now, just look at here, I just want to remove this output and let me paste one more output here. Alright. So, see that Harsha is about 6 characters, here I am going to skip this record, here this having 5 records, alright. I am going to skip these 2 records again, I am going to have these 2 more records here, and I have this record here, and the last record has to be skipped because this having only 4 characters. Okay. So, this is how we can able to find a few important things based on the length function, because there are a few things they may ask you in this part. Alright. So, the next function is something called as left function, right, and followed by one more function called right function. What is these 2 functions do basically? Say left of, you can just give input, let us see, probably I am giving an input as say APSSDC, and for example, I want to return the value of left side of 3 characters, say it is just execute this, alright. So, now how many characters is giving from the left side? Only 3 characters from the left side of this your table. Okay, let us see here. You can just see here, you are going to see how many characters here, only 3 characters, that too left side of your given string, alright. So, for example, if you want to give the length, alright, so left, alright, say I can just give something, call it as application testing department, alright. So, from which I want to give the characters or 6 characters, okay. Nothing but what is going to return now? It is going to return the characters up to this, okay, 5 and plus 1, 6. This is the 6 characters will be returned from the given string, whatever it is, okay. So, this is what the value we can expect of the output. See that as how many characters here? 3, again 3, 6 characters will be returned, because as we are giving input of how many characters it has to return? 6 characters, okay. Now, someone is asked me that give me employee names, give me an employee names whose only first characters, give the employee names and their employee name first character, right. I have to give only first character of the employee, because I have almost 10 employees in my table, alright, 10 records in my table, but I want to give only first character, alright. How to give that? Let us pretty simple. Left of, you can say employee name, alright. So, from the table name is TBL employee. Let us see, and this how many characters we are expecting? We are expecting only 1 character. Let us see, execute it. You can just see that all of their employees with a first character, alright. You can just see here all of their employees who is having a first character. See that? Let us see here, match this particular original value with this particular value, alright. So, you can able to see this particular thing. As you can also do one thing, here there is value something called no column name is displaying, right. Instead of that, you want to avoid that, you can just give an alias name here, first character of their employees, alright. You can just see here automatically your column name does changes to first char, okay. But even though this is column is not physical column of the table, but if you want to give the output in a reporting format, this will be very helpful, alright. Now, very clear now. These are a few functions of string, and one more function called write function. What is this write function? Will do it, write is a one more function, alright. So, write function, its input I am giving as some say APSSDC, and from right side I want to return 3 characters, okay. Let us see, these are the 3 characters has to be returned from the right side table, right. Let us execute this. You can see that records which is having only 3 values from the right side one, alright. You can just see here, this is a value which is returned from the right side, nothing but how many characters it is returning? 3 characters from the right side. And also you can do one thing, alright. So, if you want to apply it on the table, physical table, then you can use a write on which column you want to apply. Let us say employee name column you want to apply, and how many characters you want to return from the right side? Only 1 characters as last character from the table name is TBL employee. Now, you can just run this table, just you can just look at here, you can just see here, you can see the last character of this part, alright. So, you can just see that last character of Harsha A, Naveen N, Anil L, Akhil L, Uday Y, Ramu U, alright. Nothing but it is going to return all the last characters of the input format, okay. So, you have to remember a few functions of strings, okay. Now, let me conclude all of these string functions right now, alright. So, okay. What are the functions we have discussed in a strings? Let me list out all these things. The first function is uppercase function, will convert everything into uppercase, lower will convert everything into lowercase, and length will calculate the length of given string. And let us see, the next one is left function, will be given a list of characters from the left side, and right is going to give the values from right side table. These are the few functions which you have to remember whenever someone is asked you on questions on strings. Alright. So, is it clear now? Alright. So, now let me go to our second category of function, that is something called date functions. Alright. So, what is this date functions are? Okay. Let us see, first of all, the first very much important function we have to go for in this part is, alright, someone is asked you what is the current day of, okay, let us see, I want to know the current day in your application. Okay, right. How to get the current day here? Current day, you can see that select get date is one of the predefined function of your SQL Server database. What is this going to read? What is this going to do is, it is going to return the current date and time of your machine. Let us see, let us look at here, this is, it is going to return the value always. Alright. So, alright. So, alright. So, it just giving only thing. Alright, let me copy it again. Alright, you can just see here, it is going to give the current day 28/10/2017 and the current time is 11:28. Okay. Alright. So, this is how we can use some of the functions, one of the very important function in your SQL Server, which is going to return the current day and the time. See that this is basically follows first DD, month, year format, followed by hours, minutes and seconds format. Alright. So, you have to remember there are a few chances in other databases, the output is something like this 2017, 10 and 28. Okay. Nothing but the first one is year, then month, then date. Okay. So, based on a SQL Server database, that is going to return you in this format. So, what is the format? DD hyphen MM hyphen YY, then hours, minutes, seconds. Alright. So, this is how a SQL Server database follows whenever you want to store any specific dates into an applications of SQL Server database. Alright. So, a very much important question in interview, they will ask you that please list out, right, please list out the users who is registered on the date is 01/01 and 2017. Alright. So, on the 1st January 2017, and how many users are registered into my website? I want to see the report of those particular employee. I want to see the report of that users. Alright. So, how to write this particular thing is, how to write a query for this one is, okay. So, I mean, I do not have any specific date columns in my table right now, so that whenever you storing the details into a particular table, that directly you can use a column value as get date, then automatically what will happen is whenever you are inserting the data into the table, it will directly stores the current day and time of your machine. Okay. So, that is the reason you can directly write a select statement like this. Okay. Right now, I do not have any table, let give me a simple demonstration how to write this part, where, okay. So, for example, let us say join date is a column, imagine that, actually I do not have any column now, let us say imagine that join date is equals to, right, you can just say that, you can just pass, everything is has to be in strings basically, because 01/01/2017 automatically this particular thing, or it is going to return the values who is registered on first and first. Before you get registered, this column values, you have to pass this column value, right? Whenever you want to save the data, in that time or in that situation, try to give this join date column value as get date value directly. Alright, so what will happen is that, okay, I'll just show you simple demonstration. Alright, so now let me go for create a simple table first. Create table, table name is let's say TBL underscore test date. Alright, so in this particular value I have a test, okay, I have a ID column which is type of integer and it is primary key column, and followed by it always an identity column, right. Pass the value as 1 and 1, and second column is test, alright. So join date, right. So what is this join date has to be do is, this join date is always time, date and time, nothing but it is going to take input as in terms of date and times. Okay, now let us see this, right. Now let me execute it, only 2 columns I am creating, right. So in this column, this value is supposed to not to pass any value to the, because this is automatically incremented by your database itself. But what I want to do is, I want to insert a record into the table called this one, alright, say test data, right, values, and the first column is not required to pass anything, and second value has to be passed directly. I can say if someone is registering on this particular moment, directly I am passing the get date value to this, your record is affected. Nothing but whenever you see, whenever you can just see the data of this table TBL underscore test date, you can just see that whenever is registering into this particular website, right. So you can automatically see what is the values here, right. It is going to take the current date, current time and current mission. Based on this, if someone is ask you that, I want to get the so and so value, say simple as that, you can use this queries. Alright, am I very clear now? Now someone is asked me that please list out the users who is registered in the year of 2017, alright, nothing but I just want to see this. Okay, let us see, select year part of get date function, alright. So what is going to return? Get date is going to return current date and time, and what is this year function will do is, it is going to fetch only year part from given date, alright. You can just see that only year part, you can just see that output is 2017, you can just see the output here. Nothing but this year function is always returns the, if you are giving an expression as in terms of month, date and year, it is takes only year format. Okay. So in this way, if someone is asked you to list out the users who is registered in 2017, then you can directly say that select star from, alright. So I will do one thing, go to this table, alright. So go to this table and try, there is only one user right now, let us see, select star from table data where year part of get date, right, or year part of, you can directly use a column name directly. So I am using a column name called join date is supposed to be equals to 2017, alright. So now what it will do is, it is going to give an employee who is registered on 2017, alright. So you can just see that it is going to give the records which is having the year parts, alright. So like this, you can have one more function called month function, say month of get date, it is going to fetch, give you the current month of the year. The what is the current month? 10th month, alright. So you want to, if someone wants to know the current day, let us see, day of get date function, alright. You can just see that what is the current day? 28th is the day, alright. So I mean to say day 28, month 10, year 2017, nothing but this will be only takes year part. Alright, this only takes months part. Alright, this takes only date part. Alright, so this is how we can have a few functions here, and also there is one more function called a date part. Alright, so how to use the date part is date part of, let us say, get date function. First of all, let experiment on this, right. So, what is going to return the value? Alright, so it is going to have a second argument. Okay, let us see, second argument is right, say okay. Let us say HS. First of all, I will just talking about hours, minutes and year. Alright, still okay, second argument is okay. So, first part I will take YY and second part I will take get date function. Alright. So, now let us see this, it is going to give a date part. I mean to say, instead of going to a function called year, month and day, you can have only date part. If I say YY directly returns to the year part, let us say select of date part of month. If I go for date, get date, it is going to give you the month. Alright. So, select of, if someone is unable to remember year, month and date, you can only remember date part, you can directly say DD. Alright. So, you can say get date function, it is going to give you the day of current dates. Okay. Mean to say that these are three same actually, this 3 and this 3 same. Okay. But here only one function will be used for different values, and here only different functions you have to remember here. Alright. And one more function is, right, select date name. Alright. So, for example, I want to know the current day, right. So, what is the current day I want to know? Let us see get date function. Now, let us execute it, it is going to give a 28 minutes. Okay. Alright. So, this is how a different functions which we can able to see. Alright. So, day of the week, let us say DW, it is going to give the name. Alright. Today is Saturday, right. So, someone is want to print the name as Saturday, you can just see that Saturday. Alright. So, let us see, this is a date name, and here we have a few more things will be there, I mean to say few more functions, kind of functions will be have. Let us see mathematical function, conversion functions and all. So, that we will discuss in the next session, and I am trying to wind up the session for today. And today we are been learning about few functions about strings and dates. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about something more about the mathematical conversion functions and all. Thank you so much for listening to my class. Have a great day. By the way, I am Anil Kumar, the trainer of APSSDC.